military industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself. Fear itself. Where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We shall never surrender.
My prepper brothers and sisters, you've arrived at the bunker. Grab a cup of joe, a stout tea, or maybe your favorite adult beverage. This is the prepper's place for open discussion on whatever the hell we want. Brought to you whatever the hell way we want. This is the new format of Top's Bunker. So sit down, kick back, post up, relax, and welcome to the bunker.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Military industrial complex.
And we as a people will get to the promised land.
We will make America strong again, proud again, safe again. We will make America great again.
Preppers, survivalists, off-gridders, homesteaders, and the like. Welcome to Top's Bunker, a podcast for preppers. Our email is shtf@topsbunker.com. Our website is topsbunker.com. Don't forget to check the show notes on your podcast player for valuable links and extra info on this episode. I want to thank y'all for joining us. We got a great show for you. Tonight, we do a little Q&A from our listeners. And as per usual, we went a little off the rails, but no worries, we always get back on track. From bug-out bags to freeze-dried foods, from lone gunners to sneaky housewives, we got a little of everything to talk about tonight. So let's get to it. Whoa, what? Thought we were doing Q&A.
Yeah, whatever happened with that?
Yeah, I forgot about that too. You got that list, right?
Yes, I just pulled it up.
Well, man, I actually got a good one. It looks like he's a retired detective out in Pennsylvania. He's wanting us to do a show and talk about some things.
Like what?
Like situational awareness, how to defend yourself without, firearms and stuff. Well, I messaged him earlier and I was like, dude, would you want to come on and talk about this? It looks like you got the background. And he goes, yeah, sure.
So self-defense, self-home defense with homemade weapons and gadgets, and not firearms.
Yeah. We did hardening the home already. And I start thinking about it, not everybody lives in the South or in the country where you can, open carry on your property or whatever. Like for me, I don't open carry, but, we carry everywhere we go. So I remember living in New York and I couldn't carry at all, man. I barely could carry a knife. So you got to rewire yourself. So I thought it'd be a good one. And this guy's a listener. He's been listening for a while. Went dug into his bio and his profile and stuff. And he was a detective somewhere in Pennsylvania, close to where my daughter is. And I know a dude that's close there too. He's a detective, retired. They're both retired. So I'm going to have him actually checked out, make sure it's not my ex-wife. Having a PI running a comb up my ass. So.
Don't do that. That's bad.
All right. So what are we doing?
We've got some Q&A today. I think, Buddy, you've got some Q&A that you pulled from the listeners. Well, let's go ahead and start with the first one. All right. So first up, we got from Josh. And of course, we would never use last names on the show. So we're going with Josh. And you know what? I'm not even going to say where they're from. Josh is asking, this is a pretty typical question. What are the top 3 events you are prepping for? Everybody go ahead and blurt out one at least.
EMP.
Oh, I like EMP. EMP is good. For me, it's a nuclear war. That's just my thing. I figure it's got to be the worst thing that could happen. One of, if not the worst things that could happen realistically to the world. And it pretty much covers all the bases. If you prep for that, you prep for everything. So, that's just my thing. But for me, number 1 is nuclear war. Buddy, what you got?
Well, one of the things is civil unrest. Feel like
I knew you were going to say that
because that's my life. That's my life, man.
The spidey sense has tingled.
Well, yeah, and I follow it for certain people, certain groups, and right now we're at a tipping point, and I can deep dive into it if you want, or we can stay out. But in the next few months, going into summer, there's a kind of an inflection point where it's going to blow up or blow out. So
really,
it's starting to gain traction. May 1st is May Day. It's a typical socialist world type of celebration that they have in the socialist world. They call it May Day. The Democratic Socialists of America love that day. They're trying to get some protests going through unions and do the normal crap they do, and trying to oppose the Trump 2.0. So I would say keep your eye open. Now, what does it mean to you, living in, rural Kentucky or something? Maybe not. If you live in a larger city area, yeah, you live outside of Philly in a suburb, you might see some change in life, but look at it's the 3rd and 4th order of effect, maybe not the 2nd, but 3rd and 4th order effect that will come out there and you'll see those types of thing. And I'm hoping it'll fizzle out, but it's starting to gain some traction. So
I'm going to be honest, man, at this point in our history, I just get it done. Either do it or don't do it. It's like, dude, either send the meteor or don't send the meteor. Like, let's fucking get this going. Like, either do it and stop being a bunch of pansies or stop talking about it. That's kind of where I'm at. It's like, golly, man, all they do is they're like, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then they wean out. It's kind of like when we were waiting to take on the Republican Guard in Iraq, bunch of weenies. And I would really I want them to either do it or shut up and go away. That's where I'm at. There's
got to be a point. I mean, you can only wait so long. You got that anticipation. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But
oh, man,
yeah.
Well, it's a good time to ask. Is there anything that you foresee, buddy, in your area studies and all that sort of thing coming up?
Yeah, it's gained a lot of traction, the movement. There's a lot of people that are starting to, that voted for Trump that are like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't vote for all these tariffs. They voted for Trump, but they didn't really think about, what he really said. Maybe they were looking at his hair. I don't know. And you know what I mean? They just really didn't pay attention to what he was saying. Well, Trump is a man that does what he says. And
that's because they don't know what tariffs are. They have absolutely no concept of what he's doing, but because they don't understand that the rest of the damn world has been doing it to us and we've been eating it for generations.
Well, and people, they live in a bubble. Yeah, I'm getting my news off CNN, or I'm getting my news off MSNBC or The View or Facebook or whatever. They live in this bubble area to where it was basically an echo chamber. So they're hearing what they want to hear. I challenge people to listen to the other side to get the other's perspective. And maybe that's why I'm so angry all the time. I don't know. I listen to both sides, because somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Yeah.
But, hey, at the end of the day, what is the truth? It's your perception.
Yeah.
And so, it's just what you want to go with. But
if I had to choose between Rachel Maddow and the meteor, send the fucking meteor.
Hey, I'm not watching Rachel Maddow because there's no substance to it. I draw a line when there's no substance to what they're saying. So
I would rather get punched in the junk 5 times than watch The View ever in the history of ever. Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't watch The View either, but
bunch of cackling
but
hags.
you have to be. People need to be aware and of what's really going on around them, and with the area study thing I preach, and you just and it goes back into, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a prepper, you're a survivalist. Something brought you here as well. I want to know what to put in my bug out bag, or I want to know what groceries to buy, or I want to know, should I can food, or should I buy canned food, or whatever it may be. Well, you have to, at the end of the day, you only got so much money. And I've said this before, you need to spend that money wisely and prep according to the immediate threats you have. I mean, because you're not going to prep for every scenario. A lot of them overlap, but not every scenario. So good luck with unless you're independently wealthy, good luck with prepping for everything. So you got to deep dive into what is my immediate threat and go with that. So,
all right.
Well, and you were talking, you said civil unrest, and one of the things you talked about was the Trump thing. I mean, what could they really do, though? I mean, and first of all, we don't really know who they are, but you're talking about civil unrest, meaning in certain cities, or are you talking about the entire country, some kind of planned uprising because they don't like Trump? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about a mass uprising. I'm not talking about your garden variety Antifas or wannabes, your twosie threesie people who are, Molotov cocktailing Teslas.
I don't think you can get that many people together, man.
Well, and
without knowing about it,
what I've seen so far, they're coordinated. Okay. They have a coordination. They're coordinated nationwide. They have groups. Every Saturday they're hitting Teslas. So if you know a Tesla dealership, just to test my theory, go on there on Saturday and go drive by it and see what's going on. You'll see people out there. Might only be 3, might be 300, might be 3,000. They're out there with signs picketing. Sometimes they're breaking in, Molotov cocktailing, spraying spray paint on the Tesla dealers, because Elon Musk is an evil fascist tech guy. But it will take something like a 2020, what is it, 2020 or Summer of Love, George Floyd riots from the BLM period, to something of that caliber to even spark a nationwide movement. There's going to be an inflection point somewhere. What's it going to be? I have theories, but they're definitely looking at it. They're peeling back. They've planned for something. As soon as Trump got, within 3 days of Trump's election, the anti-Trump movement, they had already had pre-election, what in case he wins type meetings. 3 days after, they had a meeting on how they're going to take on the Trump 2.0 presidency. Believe it or not.
Trump's going to do what Trump's going to do. And so far, he's done everything that he's promised he was going to do and more, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any problem with anything that he's done so far. Do I like everything? No, but I never like anything. Well, what? That's ridiculous for me to say that I'm going to like every single thing that Trump does because I'm a supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, no, sorry. It just, his 4 years are going to be up and that's going to be it. Somebody else is going to come in and do their thing. That's the way these things are.
Well, the other part about it, and again, this goes back to that book that I'm always talking about, Color Communism and Common Sense. If you look at how that was written, and you think about, like, for instance, World War II, and shortly after World War II, when we went into the Cold War, these are all brown shirt tactics. So all these little dudes out there from Antifa and whomever else, they're the modern version of the brown shirt. They're young people who are weaponized because they have weak minds and they were influenced by the powers that be, whomever those powers that be are. And they're sent out in the world to cause chaos, and they are sent out in the world to cause dissension. But it's weird. They're doing that to Teslas now only because the only thing that they know is Elon Musk supported Orange Badman. That's the only thing in the world that they know. So you take these individuals that are, for lack of a better term, weak-minded, and now they have turned them loose to cause chaos. That's just exactly what they want. They don't care necessarily about the end state other than power. They're trying to seed trying to seed dissension and chaos. That's all they want right now. That's it. Can't stand it.
All right. Well, Leanne has asked Buddy, actually, this is going to Buddy. She asks, you always complain about a heavy bug out bag, and I have heard you many times say that.
Okay.
So what's in yours? Leanne has thrown the gauntlet down. Boom, on the table.
All right, Leanne, here we go.
You got called out.
Yeah. I'm climbing the ropes now. I'm in the corner. I'm about to come off with a
super fly.
Take a Motrin first for that bad knee and back.
Yeah.
All
right. So currently, I've recently, thank God, I recently did this, or I wouldn't even remember because I pack mine seasonal, my bug out bag. I don't really have a bug out bag. It's more of a get home bag. If I were to have a bug out bag, and wow, how should I take this? Things I would put in a bug out bag: water filtration, a way to start a fire, multiple ways. You don't need 80 ways to light a fire. Well, you need a couple ways. You need redundancy or something that is functional, something that has more than one purpose. So you need fire, you need a way to filtrate water, you need a way to collect water, you need shelter. So I'd put a poncho in there. I like ponchos. They're very functional. You can make them into a litter, carry somebody away. You can make them shelter. You can put them around you and wear them in case it's raining.
Do all kinds of things with a poncho.
Several things. I would have some bungee cords in there for my poncho and my shelter. I will have a poncho liner in there because it packs down real well. And it's also good in case I have to spend a night out in the woods and keeps me warm. I would have probably another poncho. I like two because you can lay on one and have one above you, and they're just so cool. I love poncho liners and ponchos. So, 550.
I'm not even sure I've ever seen a poncho liner.
Oh my God,
they're
you have.
Is that a military thing?
Yeah, they look like a silky blanket.
Huh? And they go on the inside of the poncho.
Well, they attach to the poncho.
Oh, they like a zipper or Velcro or something.
It's snaps, pull the dot fastener, and then they have little ties on the corners.
Huh.
Yeah, it's. I have a hard time keeping them around my house because everybody loves them so much. They're so comfy, but. I will have a way to, a little hatchet, nothing crazy, way to cut, in case I do need to make a fire.
Chop wood or chop zombies.
Yes. Wood or zombies. I will have a headlamp. I will have a little lantern, in case, I'm setting up shop to do something. I'm going to have maps of my area in there in waterproof pouches and water, Ziploc. What else? I'm just going off the top of my head here. So what I'm hearing is that you're keeping the most minimal amount of stuff that you need to survive without forgetting critical things like maps. Yeah, I'm going to have certain things in there, and I'm going to have things that are multi-purposed. They'll have more, And I'm a minimalist when it comes to stuff, especially the bug out bag, because I got to carry it. I didn't hear you say bolt cutters. I didn't hear you say sleeping bag. I didn't hear you say a 5-gallon jug of water. I didn't hear you say a lot of things. Yeah. Oh hell no! I've carried a 5-gallon jug of water and all my gear before. It's heavy. I'm going to take the very minimal stuff. I'm going to. It does suck. A water. Another cool tool is a water cock key. Those are awesome to have because you get to a industrial building, you can use those to turn on and turn off water. Yeah, for those of you out there who don't know, look it up. Sill cock is what he's talking about. It's a little tiny metal key sort of thing that fits over hydrants, spigots,
that are on buildings, mostly commercial buildings, so that people can't just walk up and take water. You have to have the special key. You can actually get them on Amazon. You can get a three pack for about $9. They're very, very cheap.
And they're very worth it.
Very worth it. Yes.
All right. A few other little things. I'm going to have a robust first aid kit, and make sure you got a tourniquet in there. I think I said 550 cord. I'm going to, have extra ammo along with my weapon. I'm going to have a way to signal in case, I get in trouble. I'm going to have a whistle and I'm going to have, we call it VF-17 panel, or a way to signal somebody from far away. They can see, something bright in color, maybe.
What is a VF-17? What is that?
It's a panel that we carry in the military that a lot of times we would put them in a certain configuration and put them on our vehicles. It's a recognition thing.
Okay. It's got like black and white boxes or squares or lines or something on it.
Well, these would be in like pink, fluorescent colors, pink or green, lime color. And then we'd bring in helicopters with them too. So
why would you need that?
That's a great question.
You don't need that. You can take that out, throw it on the floor. You don't need it. Next, what's your next thing?
I might not carry the whole thing.
Well, here's the thing. Why would you need it in the first place? Because you're not going to be dealing with military people who also just happen to have them with them.
Okay, so you have it.
Well, let me rephrase. Leanne is not going to. She's not going to be out there looking for other military people and trying to communicate with them. So throw it on the floor, done with it, move on. What's next?
Well, other people.
What do you got? What do you got?
I'm going to plead my case here, man. I'm trying to. If I pull that out, I'm wanting to be found, and so I might throw it on a car on the side of the road or up in a tree to signal somebody for help. I mean, what if I break my leg and can't move? So it's a way, with my whistle or that I can, call and help.
The only person that's going to understand it is a military person who's used it.
Well,
I wouldn't understand it. I look at it and go, "Oh, look at the pretty colors."
Help me out here, Jeremy.
Okay, so when we say VS-17, it's probably it's the way we know it. It's a brightly colored piece of cloth or something along those lines, which you can use to signal somebody else in order to get help. It doesn't have to be a VS-17 with the safety orange and the chartreuse color. It's a brightly colored piece of clothing or something along those lines that you can use to signal someone from a distance to get their attention. Like if, let's just say, for instance, you had some kind of brightly colored thing and you were on a mountainside and you fell and you got hurt, but you know that there's a helicopter or you see a helicopter coming in, you start waving that thing like you're the last unicorn trying to get on the ark. That's what it's really for. And you can also use them if you are part of a group that has a prearranged signaling system. So let's just say, for instance, if you are coming by and you're coming down the road and you need to know whether or not this particular thing is safe, you look for a prearranged signal on a prearranged spot that tells you, hey, the road is clear. If you don't see that brightly colored piece of clothing there, the road's not clear. Don't go that way. So that's something else that you can use it for. So we just say VS-17 because that's how our brains think.
Okay.
Are you convinced yet?
I'm still not sold. I'm not going to be carrying one. I'll carry a mirror, a signal mirror.
There you go.
Have you ever tried to use a signal mirror to signal an aircraft?
It's hard. It's very hard to do.
Pain in the ass. Yeah, it really is. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you're just shining a light somewhere in space.
Yeah, they don't work at night either.
Exactly.
No, and they don't work for night. And honestly,
laser does.
I had an issued, signal mirror for ages. You know what I used it for? Putting camo on my face, making sure that that's exactly what I used it for.
It's got multi-purpose. See,
yeah,
there you go.
And I used it when I had to shave. So
yeah, 3 purposes there. You can put it in your kit.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess,
that pretty much.
Leanne, I hope I answered it. You can ask again or instant message me, and I can give you a better list.
What kind of weight are you looking at?
40 pounds is good for me. I used to like throw on as much as I could, but
Do we need it to make this question three freaking hours long? Like, come on. I mean, what are we doing here?
I like to move fast. Let's go to the next one.
There you go. Let's keep it light. Throw stuff in there you like.
Do it.
There you go. Good to go. Right?
All
Good.
right.
Exactly.
Chris, who I'm assuming is a woman, but I could be wrong. But Chris says, how do I get my husband into prepping? He thinks he has it all covered with his guns. Okay, we've heard this one before.
Man.
We
Oh,
know
Lord.
that. You know what, Jeremy, you take this one.
Guns are cool. Bullets is cool. But if you have the mentality that you're going to go take other people's stuff in a time of crisis, and you are a, legal, gun owner, and you think that that's what you're going to do, you're going to go trying to take the stuff of other legal gun owners, and you is going to get shot. That is what is going to happen.
Live by the sword, die by the sword, and that's how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Somebody's always better.
You
Somebody's
have
always
to-
faster.
And the gun thing, you need to be able to be prepared to protect your stuff, but you have to have stuff. Because if you come for my stuff, you're not going for anybody else's stuff. That's how I feel about it. So that's all I have to say about that. Yeah. Yeah. We all like guns.
Once you get a grid down situation, a really bad situation, I can guarantee you that my firearms, and I say that plural, will never not be near me. They will always be on me at all times, and I will be protecting mine and my own and everything. If you try and take it, you're going to spend a lot of bullets trying to do it. You may take it, you may get it. Why do that? Just get your own shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And protect it.
You may find me dead, but you will find me in a ditch covered in brass. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly.
And you can leave me there. That's how I feel about it.
I went out for a woods walk yesterday morning, did the whole entire perimeter. It was a long one. And I took my rifle, a couple of mags, Baofeng radio, a couple other things. Didn't go too heavy on this one. The Baofeng radio, those things are awesome, but they're also freaking cheap. They're not very well made, man. I tried to pull this thing off I had in my belt. I pulled it off the belt, and I guess it got caught on something, and the antenna snapped right off. Ooh, the heck's going on with these things, man?
Yeah,
now,
are you talking about the actual threading snapped off, or just the base part of the antenna?
Well, it's a good question because I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere, and I still contacted Rhonda, who was at the house, because I wanted to do a woods test, to see how far it can go. And she actually heard me. I heard her crystal clear, but she heard me. It was a little bit scratchy, she said, and I was about 350 yards away, but I was down, up, and over a mountain with nothing but trees, and she still heard me. And that was without the antenna, which I thought was pretty good. Which is why I started by saying they're pretty awesome, but they're also cheap. That's the second one I broke, man.
Yeah, when I'm going out to do missions, I usually keep my radio. I have a Kydex insert that's typically for a magazine, but what I do is I actually put that into a magazine pouch, and then I put my radio locked, of course, so I don't jam buttons and turn on the stupid siren. But I put that in that Kydex insert so it doesn't get mashed around. And they do have antennas that they're called thumb antennas. They're only about 2.5 inches tall, and they're wide. And they screw into your typical, Baofeng antenna base. But I really, really like those.
Are they powerful? I thought they had to be really long to be powerful.
No. Well, so here's antenna theory 101. It's not necessarily how long, how thin, or how fat your antenna is. What it has to do with is the output.
We're talking about radios here, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Of course, man. Of course. It's 2025. We don't judge. But so antenna theory has to do with what does your antenna have to go through or above or around to get a signal out. And that all depends on, one, how much wattage your radio is pushing. Typical UV 5R is 5 watts. if you're communicating within, say, you said 350 yards.
Yeah.
So 350, I would say max like 500, even in the woods. I've used those thumb antennas and they work wonderful, especially if you're within some, yeah. But then again, you also have to think is what is it you're trying to achieve? Are you going through a building or are you out in the woods?
Right. All right. So that was
the crit from Chris. How do I get my husband into prepping?
right. Okay. So besides the fact that he wants to be the lone gunman, what else could we get Chris's husband to be excited about?
You know, I've seen this before. I met a lady in Texas who was sneaking to a prepper type training event. She was sneaking around. She was being a little mischievous. She told him she was going shopping with her sister. Her sister dropped her off at a prepper meeting. And she was telling everybody, "Yeah, I'm not supposed to be here. My husband doesn't buy into this. He said everything's going to be fine." And we were all just like, "What?"
That's the first time. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, wow. I was floored. And she sat right next to me. I was like, "Holy crap!" Okay.
Kind of reminds me of these people that were afraid to say they were voting for Trump.
Oh man!
On the down low, she's has free dry food and all kinds of stuff. You know, her husband was like, "What is this? I'm going to make something out of it." You know.
I think that's kind of, and I don't know another way to say it, but I think that's kind of ugly. So, I mean, let's just say your significant other had a hobby, right? Would you smash on your significant other's hobby if that's something that they really enjoyed?
Well, no, but you're exactly right. That's the thing. Obviously, her husband or boyfriend, whoever it was, had a problem with preppers. Otherwise, she would have just grown a set of balls and said, I'm going to go to prepping, either come or don't, but shut your mouth. That's it.
And I give you a little background on her. After talking with her a little bit, I pulled a few little nuggets out of her. She's a country girl, and her sister, you know, her and her sisters grew up on the farm, and her husband was a city guy. They lived in the city, and they just moved back away from the city because, you know, looking for a retirement place, and he plays a lot of golf. You know, that's where his energy and time and money goes into it. While he's playing golf, she's out, you know, not shopping. She's watching prepper videos and stuff, and she's concerned about things. So
yeah, I used to play golf years ago. It's very expensive. It's more expensive, I think, than prepping.
I would say so. It's probably even more expensive than shooting.
Oh yeah,
definitely. It's very expensive.
I mean, how much does a round of golf cost normally, like in the average?
Nowadays, I have no idea, but I know it was very expensive back in the day.
Yeah, but if you get really good with that golf swing, I mean, you can have close quarter combat, and then plus you can probably pick somebody off of 300-400 yards. I mean,
zombie killing machine.
There you go.
Yeah, but think about how many 22 bullets you could buy.
Yeah,
for a round of golf.
Exactly.
My version of golf is a bucket of golf balls, a 12-pack of beer, and a tennis racket. That's a good time. Yeah.
Okay, so there is a Jeremy who says, no, this is a great question, actually. What's better, canning or freeze drying? That's the question.
That's a good one.
What I can tell you from what I know is that freeze dried, let's talk about the actual product. Freeze dried foods are far superior than canned foods because they have shelf lives that could be 20, 30 years, could be 3 decades long or more in some cases. Another thing about freeze dried food, it's very light. Freeze dried food is food that all the moisture has been taken out of it.
Yeah.
So it's very light. It's extremely light. You couldn't even imagine. You can carry a month's worth of food in a backpack with freeze dried food. Canning is not. It's very heavy. It's mainly it's glass jars. The jars alone weigh stuff. So this and that. But there are some cons about freeze drying. One is very expensive. It's very expensive to buy a freeze dryer if you want to do it yourself. And freeze dried food is actually pretty expensive. It really is. But you can find the canning jars. We found them at Dollar General, really good ones, Ball, with the wide mouths. Okay, we found them with the jars, cans, lids, the whole thing, and they were super cheap.
Yeah,
very, very cheap. Bought a couple cases of them.
Yeah.
And you can, and now if you're staying where you're at, which you're not bugging out, which is going to be 99% of all preppers are going to be staying where they're at. It's not going to be a situation where you're heading down the road. It's just not.
Yeah.
If you did have to bug out in a certain situation, if the world got that crazy, yes, freeze-dried food is the way to go. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think that each one has its purpose and its place. If you are in an area that is generally secure, away from most of the chaos, and that's where you're going to make your castle, then yes, canning is amazing. It doesn't have as long of a shelf life, but you're also wanting to can the things that you do use on a regular basis.
Exactly. Rotate it out.
You know what I mean? But the great thing about freeze drying, though, let's just say, for instance, you made a bunch of chili and you take that excess chili that you didn't get to eat and you put it in the freeze dryer, you freeze dry it. It removes every bit of moisture, but it locks in all of the nutritional value that it had when you cooked it and the flavor, generally the flavor that it had when you cooked it.
You're right about that. You do lose a little bit of nutrition when you do canning because you're using heat to kill the microbes and all that.
Yes. And of course, a lot of people don't like vinegar, and, depending on what you're canning depends on how much, of that you're using. Most of our sauces that we did last year didn't have a whole lot of vinegar in them, especially with the tomatoes. But now when you start getting into the okra and you start getting into, your pickles and stuff like that, of course, it's got a lot of,
a lot of vinegar, a lot of salt,
but those are salts that are needed down the line. It really is. And people, there's a big argument out there about salt. That people are like, oh my God, it's going to, you're going to raise your blood pressure. Bullshit. You need more salt in your life. You do. And people don't realize that. So I think we both have their place, depending on your own individual situation.
I would love to get a freeze dryer, but man, the price, I mean, like what, $4,000 or $5,000 for a good one.
Costco had one. I actually saw one at Costco. It's been about a year, about 2,500. Tractor Supply has them for around 3,000, but
yeah. Are they really small or something, or?
No, I mean, like Jeremy said, you instead of throwing away that leftover chili or lasagna, whatever you had, it has smaller trays, so you're not going to do mass production out of it.
Right.
But I mean, if you have, at the end of the week, you made chili, you have lasagna on Thursday night and chili on Sunday, you got a little left over, that weekend, or maybe the next Sunday, you just freeze dry it, smaller portions. So it's just expensive, man.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great point, Jeremy, is that you got leftovers. You don't have to actually make foods to freeze dry. You're already making food. Just freeze dried your leftovers. You're good to go.
Yeah. We do the same thing with just freezing,
Oh yeah. I mean, there's always like a giant thing of either beans or chili or something in the freezer. We got a giant thing of beans sitting up there, and I think probably going to have it tonight, actually.
The least expensive one that Tractor Supply has on their website right now is the Harvest Right, of course, and is the medium freezer dryer with premium pump and Mylar starter kit for $2,395.
No, they've gone down, or about the same, I guess.
Well, that's really not that bad, because I remember, because I was a dealer. Actually, I think we still are a dealer for Harvest Right, and they were well above like 39, like 3,800 or something like that.
Oh, you got the hookup?
Well, no, you have to be able to sell stuff in order to get it for a better price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I could never sell it. They're just so damn expensive. Nobody would ever buy them.
Yeah.
But these are, these are the medium size, and they go up in price. And when you get up to the first large one, starts at $2,995.
Okay, so $3,000, $2,500 to $3,000 for a freeze dryer.
Yeah,
that's what we're looking at. Okay.
Yeah, and then they're dealing in some other brands that I'm not 100% familiar with. This brand, it's called Blue Alpine.
I've not heard of it. No,
never heard of it.
No, but their price point for that particular brand, and this is from Tractor Supply, starts out at $3,099.
Okay. This next one is from Casper. The question is, I have a small apartment. How can I store my food, water, and gear? Great question.
I'll take that one real quick. Every nook and cranny that you think that you don't have, you do. Under your bed, in your closet. You have to start looking at what you currently have in your apartment. And I would generally guess that anybody asked that kind of question is living small anyways. But you need to start looking at unconventional places that people don't think about. And one of the products that I would definitely suggest is called the water cube. If you are trying to store water and you're trying to keep it on supply, even if it's in a small closet, you can get the water cubes and you can actually stack them. So it's a great product. Or I'm sorry, not water cube, water brick. They literally look like
the water bricks, where they're like 18 by 18 or something like that, or
well, they have a bunch of different sizes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can literally set aside a corner in your small closet and start stacking water. So,
yeah, I've seen people take those and use them as a stand, like for shelving. So they'll have like a cube on both sides, a piece of wood going across, another cube, a piece of wood going across, and they actually make shelves out of them. So they got their water built into the shelf.
Yeah, and you can also use them for food products.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're BPA free and they're water safe so they're food safe. Nice. If you want to make it even safer, you can add Mylar bag into it, but you can actually, you can store your beans, your rice, and your dry goods in those things.
One thing that I would say, because I've been living in apartments for many, many years until just now. And one thing I can tell you for sure is don't be afraid to throw shit out.
Yeah.
Get rid of stuff. You don't need, I have a pretty much a rule. If I didn't need it all year, I'm not going to need it for the next year. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Give it to somebody, whatever it is you want to do. But don't be afraid to throw stuff out. Don't be afraid to give stuff away.
When I lived in New York, small apartment, I mean, it's all I could afford, and married, we had to be
closet, you mean, in New York?
Yeah,
closet,
pretty much.
Basically.
We got very creative with our storage. So, our bed, like Jeremy said, he put stuff under the bed. Well, some stuff didn't fit under the bed. So we actually elevated, there was these hard plastic blocks that elevated the bed up.
Oh, yeah.
Almost 12 inches, maybe 14. So it was a little harder to get in and out of bed, but hey, it worked. It gave us more space underneath.
You're going to snap a fucking ankle coming out of that thing.
Set up like a Tarzan rope and just swing across the room into bed. That's awesome.
I ran across the small apartment and jumped into bed. That's how I got in. But, like you were saying, those stack cubes are great. Maybe a water blivet that, hopefully there's water in your lines in case the water goes out. So
you're talking about from the bathtub.
You can fill that bathtub up with that water blivet. There's different things, but we got very creative.
You're talking about the bladder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blivet, I call it. That's Army term, I guess.
Blivet. Okay. Yeah. Like the bladders that you put in your tub and you fill them with water and they basically fill your whole your tub up with water.
Yeah. And you're going to have water in the lines, even though the water's out. So you'll have a little.
Sure. But if you got big storms coming, throw it in there, fill it up with water. If you got tornadoes coming, outbreak. Hey, a lot of people just died recently from tornado outbreaks. And Jeremy, you went down and saw all the people, and you did too, buddy. Yeah. All the people that had from the hurricane.
Yeah.
Just get yourself a bladder. They're very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Fill them up, then empty them out, and you're good to go.
Just be creative.
Yeah. Good questions.
My prepper brothers and sisters, keep those questions coming in. We love hearing from y'all and getting the chance to chime in on some real world prepper related challenges. From catastrophes to bug out bags to the lone wolf gunners, from canning to freeze drying to tiny spaces stuffed with gear. It doesn't matter what the prepper challenge is. We're always here to help. Stay prep, stay happy. Thanks for listening, and good night.